am not a vacuum cleaner salesman, and I'm not a vacuum cleaner repairman, but I do play one on TV. Take two. Yeah, take one wasn't very good, so I'm just going to start over. Hello, folks. Welcome to Gotta Know Joe Hobbies and iRobot UP Repair. I am not a vacuum cleaner salesman, and I'm not a vacuum cleaner repairman, but I do play one on TV, as they say. So, customer brought me a couple of vacuum cleaners to take a look at, and he wasn't really clear on what was going on with it. He told me, well, the thing just doesn't last long. It doesn't work well. It doesn't last long. And I'm like, well, maybe it's a battery or the charger, so bring me everything so I can take a look at it. And he's like, okay, I'll bring everything. So he brought it over, and not the cleanest vacuum I've ever worked on. However, I took everything apart, and I do an initial first clean, you know, just empty the contents if that's the case, charge it up, and I'll let them run around and see if I can get it to emulate problems, so I'll kind of know what's going on without even having to really talk to the customer. And sure enough, it ran around here on the table, all the sensors and everything were working okay. The charge, you know, there's a lot of other little things, but about 2 or 3 minutes in, it shuts down, giving me an error number 2, saying to clean the brushes out. Flip it over, and with the exception of it being just dirty, the wheels were free and clean. One thing you have to remember when you're working on any of these things, really anything in general, but especially with vacuums, its office is a dusty, dirty, hairy, gross place, and all of that stuff gets everywhere. It is like beach sand in a butt crack. If it can get, if it's there, it will get in it. So the way these things here work, and if you're working on one of these things, you say that, oh, well, I took it apart and I cleaned it. Well, I guarantee you there's something that you missed, because I miss it, everybody misses it. But when you're looking at something, always look to see if you've got 2 different metals, 2 different plastics. See if there's a joint where those 2 plastics went together. Now, that doesn't mean try to pry things apart and break them. You've got to figure out the right way to do it. But when you look at something like this here, you can see that you've got a silver piece of metal, and then you got a brass piece of metal, and if they seem like they're fused together, you probably got a problem there. Okay, so with that being said, that one was fused on like this one here. See, this thing will not turn. Get this here. There is nothing in the world I can do to make this thing turn. Okay, so great little tool here. This is a gear puller, and what this does, this goes in. Let's see if I can get that to focus. There we go. This goes in behind what you want it to pull. Excuse my hands, but I am working on a vacuum cleaner. And then this little guy screws in. You can pick these up for about $5 or $10. I think I'm going to use the other one. This one's kind of cool too. So this one, it's got a little guy that slides in there like that there. This part, man, I hope that's focused. I don't have my screen set up. Okay, so this slides in behind the part you want to pull. You can pull $5 or $6. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. So, see how I've got that? Got this little piece underneath, and then this screws into this block. So I'm going to start pulling on this now. Okay, 1/4 turn. There's a half. There, about 3 turns, and look at there. Hey, hey, hey. Now just keep on going just to get her out of there. Now back off of it. Pull my T-handle. Pull that. Slide the backer. Pull that part out. Bam, bam, bam. Thank you, ma'am. And see, one of them's real thin. And this will pull gears and everything. This is a must-have if you want to rumble with the rumbas. And see, this one here, I even had to take a Dremel tool and gouge out. Man, I hope I am not just sitting here and talking and you're not seeing. I've got to get my monitor, my tabletop monitor, hooked back up so I can see what I'm doing while I'm working. So I want you to look at the funk that's in there. That's just horrible, horrible stuff. Let me get really close in there. You see all that, what appears to be rust and having problems getting this thing to focus. If I take this and turn that off, there we go. When I'm working on this little stuff, I need to do this manually. So you see all that just funky Medina stuff there. Look at that. Okay. That stuff right there keeps this from rolling freely on that shaft. And because of it, let me go back over to, I could really use a cameraman. If you'd like to be one for me, call 1-800-guy-needs-cameraman.com. Hashtag. So now, all of this nasty stuff on here, some of it we can get. Be careful if you use a razor blade. This is what I save on my razor blades that when I'm cutting vinyls or monocoat or stuff like that. I can cut 1 or 2 times and then they go into the scrape pile or the second use pile. Okay. Now there's still a whole bunch of crap on there, right? That's about the right length right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little lathe. Make me a little lathe here. Then I'll take some sandpaper and put on here. Polish that right up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the paper around and I'm also going to change direction. And then I'm going to take a look at it. This is the best thing I've found since sliced bread. They come in different colors and man, these things will polish anything. So take a look at this here. Now look at that. If you can, I can get this focused. See if, how close I can get in focus this thing. Look at that. Like a brand new part. Okay, so I've got this clean, but now I've got to clean this little guy here. Because if I just stick that back in there, we're not doing anything. See what a difference that makes. Now you're not wanting to take off meat. Lord Almighty, don't, because what'll happen is this thing will be too loose on the shaft. You don't want to make that shaft go down in size, and you don't want to increase the size of this here. Beautiful. Now, it's not saving the customer 12 or 15 or 20 bucks or whatever this is. It's the time. You know, we may have had to have waited. This thing may have had to have been down for, 2-3 weeks, depending on where you're getting your stuff from. Okay, now look at this thing go. Now that thing will spin free, and guess what? No more number 2. As far as the codes. I'll tell you what I like to do here. And this can be messy. If you've never used this stuff, man, buy you a bottle and be careful the first time you open it up, because this crap gets everywhere. And it doesn't take much. I'm not even going to squeeze the bottle, I'm just going to tap. And try to get a little residue on there. This is the stuff that we use to win all of our soapbox derbies. This graphite is just slick, slick, slick. But it is messy, messy, messy. See that? And now that'll stay there. If you're trying to get away with a bank robbery, don't have graphite on you, because you will leave fingerprints everywhere. Alrighty then. So, let's get this stuff covered back up before it becomes a big problem. Now, basically, we've got 2 brand new extractors, okay? Looks like I've got a couple of hairs here that it's hard to work on these things sometimes, man. It really is. You don't get all this stuff out of here. You will be right back where you started. Reach in there and grab and pull all that stuff out of there. You can grab all these little hairs and stuff, and see that hair there is actually cut this dead gum wheel. If you got a pair of these hemostats, close them and hold them up to the light and see if you can see light through. If you can see light through, throw them away. They're worthless for grabbing stuff, really. Okay, now that's there. Now, if you can't do this here with yours, then you've got a problem. So, I'm going to go ahead and shut the camera off for a few minutes, and I'm going to get to another part of this thing. And when I get to something important, I'll turn it back on and share. I'll turn it back on and share with you. But right now it's all pretty much basic. Screw, unscrew. Okay? Talk to y'all in a few. Remember I told you about my little wheels? Now, I buy them by the hundreds, and they got different grits. You got the yellow grit, you got the green grit, you got the red grit, and the black grit. So we got all the grits, and I'm not sure which one is which, but they go from heavier to fine. I believe this yellow one, let me see here, the red one's probably the softest. So they probably go red, green, yellow, black if I had to put them in line, and that's just off the feel. Of course, you remember I was telling you about the graphite, you see what I mean? So another thing is this wheel gets pretty nasty, and I'm going to show you how this thing will clean it up. See here if I can make a little change here. Go back over to manual. Now, I want you to see what I'm talking about here. Look at all this here. Now, most people would consider that clean, but it's far from it. Let me show you. good. Look here. That's what I'm saying. Every little part in here. You basically really need to take every nut, bolt, screw, and part completely apart to clean these. Open it up and keep digging deeper because you will find stuff. And I don't know if you know this or not. I didn't know this till here recently. And I'm replacing these maybe later when these wheels come. I'm replacing the wheels. When the wheels come in, I may take these off and I'll show you. But when you take these off and you drill through here, these are like sealed, kind of. But the hair gets in here, and these wheels will be full of hair, dust, dirt, and grime. Full. So you have to drill a bunch of holes and sit with a pick and get it out. And you'll get enough. In most cases, if it's real bad, you can get enough to fill up a hand. Pretty gross, right? Okay. Anyway, so this really fixes our problem. The only thing else that we've got to do is we're going to put some new wheels on here. We're going to clean these wheels out. When I take it apart, that's when I'm going to do the deep clean on this thing. Now, I may or may not make a video on it. Just depends on time and how I feel. But if you got any questions, you can always Google us. Gotta know Joe Hobbies, Spring, Texas. You can always call us. Even if you haven't bought anything here or traded with us, we'll always do our best to help you out. Because that's what it's all about. Helping your neighbors and trying to make the world a better place. As Lord knows, right now we need it. I'll be good.